How often do you check your sources?
Not as often as I would like. There are a lot of times that I'm more often like, I don't believe that, but I don't check it anyway. Um, Sorry, but I definitely could be checking my sources more often. I would say 50% of the time.
How can you make sure that the information you are seeing is reliable?
Um, I think a lot of it is going towards the right sources. I mean, I definitely need to be better about this. I don't trust everything I see on social media, but I should more often go to websites with like the appropriate like URLs too. Like I mean like .govs. Um, like try to stay away from .coms and just trusting them immediately. Um, or just going to like if you can like source material itself. So if somebody's talking about a court case that's going on, like read the court case files instead of just listening to someone summarize it. I think just finding your right sources. But yeah,
Do you feel like the media you intake is more liberal, conservative, or neutral? Why is this?
I would say that the media that I intake is definitely more liberal. Um, I think that nowadays our social media has changed the way that it functions. So they're using algorithms that I think like tailor more towards us. And they want to give us content that we're going to agree with rather than challenge our opinions. I get a little bit frustrated with this because I want to see the other point of views and not just be agreeing and agreeing. And I think that makes also social media and opinions more polarized. But I think it's just the way that social media has changed.
How often do you check your sources?
I probably check my sources more when it's like educational, so like in school. A lot of my information does come from TikTok, so that stuff I'm probably not checking. But again, that stuff is not. I'm not taking it to heart, like running with it. Information that I'm using for like just my personal opinions or like school projects or anything like that, I definitely am checking multiple times, just because I don't want to sound like silly or stupid. Like I want to sound educated, so I try to check my sources pretty much a lot, either double checking them, checking where they're coming from, using our college's library base too, like making sure that the information I'm using for certain assignments is like good, and that I do through like our library. So those sources I check a lot.
How do you make sure that the information you are seeing is reliable?
Okay, so when I'm looking for a reliable source, I try to use like .gov, .edu, kind of stay away from .com because I know like anyone can add to that, but especially like in school and stuff, I try to make sure that what I'm looking for, like the author is like well educated, maybe has some awards under his belt or her belt, stuff like that where it's like I don't even know, like we're not looking at stuff that's a little silly, has silly titles. That's not what we're looking at.
Do you feel that the media you intake is more liberal, conservative, or neutral? Why is this?
Okay, I would say my media is more conservative. One, because I think our president is more like vocal with certain things. So I think it like gets spread across the media because he's either saying something ridiculous or something like more out there. I also think that because maybe my opinions lean more conservative. So like I think maybe like what I like or what I dislike is more like geared towards me. But overall I think it's just like the fact that he's more like of a vocal person and he's the president that's like right now, like we don't have a liberal voice in the media pretty much. Like our main voice is more conservative. So I think the media tends to like show him, write about him, like stuff like that.
How do you make sure your information is reliable?
Just by checking it. Most of the time, I do check it, especially if I'm a little confused, maybe about what I see, or if I think maybe it could be a sort of lie, or maybe not as accurate as real news. So definitely just checking when I read something where I'm like, oh, okay, this could be real, or it could not be real.
How can you make sure the information you are receiving is reliable?
Definitely just checking your source could be a good thing to do, especially when it comes to politics, because there are a lot of people's opinions out there and we want to know what is real. So just making sure that you're looking at credible sources. Being a teacher, when my kids are doing research, I make sure that they're also using reliable sources like .gov, .edu, and staying away from AI also.
Do you feel the media you intake is more liberal, conservative, or neutral? Why is this?
I definitely feel more neutral, one, because of a Republican president at the time, but also a little bit of the left side because of all the things that I'm surrounded by, like teaching and things along those sorts of lines.